Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. This video on the YouTube channel Block Spawns Funds is created for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial or investment advice. All investments carry risk. We strongly encourage you to conduct your own research and consult a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. All right, let's get right into it. For decades, some of the smartest people on the planet tried to create true digital cash, a way to send money online from person to person, no middleman required. And you know what? They all failed. Today, we're going to figure out why. We're going to uncover the one single gigantic problem that made digital money as we think of it today completely impossible before blockchain came along. So, to get started, I want you to think about this simple question. What if you could copy a 100-rupee note or a dollar bill just as easily as you copy a digital photo? You know, Control-C, Control-V. Perfect copy every time. It sounds simple, but that one little thought experiment is the key to understanding this entire story. And that idea right there, it brings us straight to the heart of the matter, the fundamental, unchangeable difference between things in the physical world and information in the digital world. This slide really nails it. On one hand, you have physical cash. It's scarce by nature. If I hand you a $10 bill, I don't have it anymore. Simple. But on the other hand, you've got digital stuff, files, pictures, songs. The ability to make perfect instant copies isn't a bug. It's a feature. It's how the internet works. But when it comes to money, that amazing feature becomes a catastrophic, system-breaking flaw. And that fatal flaw has a name. It's called the double spending problem. It's the risk that someone could take a single digital coin and spend it twice, or 100 times. They'd basically be creating money from nothing, and that would just completely destroy any trust in the system. This was the monster at the heart of the labyrinth for every early digital cash pioneer. And don't just take my word for it. This is a quote straight from Satoshi Nakamoto, the inventor of Bitcoin. This is the core challenge. If someone sends you digital money, how can you possibly know you got the real one? How can you be sure they didn't just send an identical copy to someone else a millisecond before? Without a central referee, you can't. So, how have we been doing digital payments all these years? Well, we came up with a solution a long time ago. It's the system we use every single day. We don't solve the problem, we just hand it over to a trusted middleman to manage for us. We rely on banks. And here's the thing you have to understand. Your bank balance isn't actually a pile of digital cash that you own. Not really. It's just a number in a private spreadsheet that the bank controls, an IOU. It's a record of how much they owe you. We trust them to keep that spreadsheet, that central record, accurate and to make sure nobody spends the same IOU twice. So when Alice wants to pay Bob, it's pretty straightforward. She tells her bank what to do. The bank looks at its master list, its central ledger, and sees if she has the funds. If she does, they just subtract the number from her account and add it to Bob's. That's it. The bank is the single source of truth, and that's what stops Alice from spending that same money again somewhere else. And look, this system works. It's how the global economy functions. But, and this is a huge but, it all hinges on one single thing. Trust. We have to completely trust these centralized institutions not to make errors, not to get hacked, not to freeze our accounts. Every Venmo, every credit card swipe, every wire transfer you've ever made relies on this model of centralized trust. But the dream was always to get rid of that middleman, to create a true peer-to-peer electronic cash system. A way for me to pay you directly, just like handing you a physical coin. A lot of people tried, and it's a really fascinating history of almosts. You can see this pattern of brilliant failures. DigiCash had incredible tech, but it was run by one company. When that company went bankrupt, the money just vanished. eGold got really popular, but it was also centralized, which made it a super easy target for regulators to shut down. Even the really advanced ideas, like B-Money and BitGold, got so close, but they couldn't figure out that last piece of the puzzle. How do you get everyone to agree on the order of transactions if there's no one in charge? They all ran into the exact same wall, a single point of failure. Okay, so to really feel why this is such a hard problem to solve, let's make it real. Let's walk through what a double spending attack would actually look like in a world without banks as our referee. So imagine Alice has a digital file that represents 100 rupees. She emails that file to Bob to pay for a book. At the exact same time, she attaches that exact same file to another email and sends it to Charlie to buy a coffee. From their perspective, Bob and Charlie both get the file. They both think, great, I've been paid. But in reality, Alice has just counterfeited money. She's cheated the system. So here it is, the 100-rupee question. Who actually gets the money, Bob or Charlie? In a network of peers with no central boss, there is literally no way to know which transaction came first. There's no way to resolve the conflict. The system is fundamentally broken. And this whole situation leads to some really common misunderstandings. A lot of us think of our bank balance as our property, but it's really just the bank's IOU. We worry about people forging digital money, but strong cryptography solved that a long time ago. The real problem was never forgery. It was duplication. And those early systems, they didn't fail because the tech was bad. They failed because they could never truly get away from having a central point of control. So, for decades, this was it. This was the roadblock. Computer scientists knew the problem, but it seemed impossible to solve without bringing back a trusted middleman, which defeated the whole purpose. And this is the fundamental reason why. To be 100% sure that a digital coin you're receiving hasn't already been spent, you would need to know about every single transaction that has ever happened in the entire system, right up to that exact second. In the old world, only a bank had that godlike, complete view of the ledger. The grand challenge was figuring out how to give that power to everyone, all at once, without it turning into chaos. Which brings us to the final epic question. How could you possibly build a system where millions of people who don't know or trust each other can all look at a ledger and agree on a single shared history of who paid whom? How do you create a global source of truth with no one in charge? The person who finally answered that question, well, they would change the world.